Ada, let's do it here. No one is watching us. We'll be quick, remember what we saw them doing. David whispered, his voice filled with excitement. Ada hesitated, her heart pounding. She glanced at the door, then back at David. A part of her knew this was wrong, but another part was too deep into the secret they had been keeping. Just as she was about to respond, a sudden noise made them both freeze. Welcome to Once Upon Africa. In a lively compound in the heart of Lagos, two families live side by side, Mama Ada and Mama David. Their friendship was unshakable, though their parenting styles were quite different. Mama Ada was strict and firm, a woman who believed that discipline shaped a child's future. Mama David, on the other hand, was gentle and rarely raised her voice. Despite their differences, they had a bond as strong as sisters. Their children, Ada and David, had grown up like siblings. They played together, did homework side by side, and spent long afternoons laughing in the compound. But there was one problem: both mothers were always busy at the market, leaving the children on their own for most of the day. One evening, as they sat for dinner, David turned to his mother. "Mama, I need a phone," he said, pushing his food around his plate. "All my classmates have one. I feel left out." Mama David sighed. "A phone? At your age? You're just 12, David." David insisted, "It's not just for fun. I can use it for schoolwork too." After a long pause, Mama David agreed, but on one condition. "If you come first in your class this term, I'll buy you one." That was all the motivation David needed. He studied harder than ever, and when the term ended, he proudly handed his mother a report card with first position written at the top. Keeping her promise, Mama David bought him a brand new smartphone. It was sleek, shiny, and filled with possibilities. At first, the phone was just for games and funny videos. Ada and David would sit for hours, watching comedy skits and sharing memes. But one afternoon, curiosity led them somewhere new. "What's this?" David asked, tapping on a strange app he had never seen before. The screen lit up with a collection of unfamiliar videos, not cartoons or games, but something else. He clicked on one. Ada's eyes widened. "What are they doing?" she whispered. David hesitated. "I don't know, but I've heard the older boys at school talk about things like this." Ada shifted uncomfortably. "Should we be watching this?" David shrugged. "It's just a video. We're not doing anything bad." Deep down, both felt a strange mix of curiosity and guilt, but neither of them turned the video off. Instead, when it ended, David clicked on another one. That day marked the beginning of a dangerous secret. At first, it was just watching. Then, it became a habit. Every time their mothers went to the market, they would lock themselves in David's room and explore more forbidden videos. Slowly, their friendship changed. They no longer ran around the compound laughing. Instead, their moments together were filled with whispered conversations and stolen glances. One afternoon, Ada turned to David with a question that sent chills down his spine. "What if we tried doing what they do in the videos?" David's heart pounded. "What? No. That's a bad idea." Ada tilted her head. "Why not? It's something adults do, right?" David shook his head. "It's not right. What if someone finds out?" But Ada didn't give up. Day after day, she kept bringing it up. Then one day, when they were alone in the compound, she finally convinced him. They locked the door. The room was silent except for their breathing. But the moment Ada felt a sharp pain, she pushed David away and ran out of the room, crying. David stood frozen, regret washing over him. He knew something terrible had happened. For days, Ada avoided him. She wouldn't talk to him, look at him, or even play in the compound. David wanted to apologize but didn't know how. Finally, at school, he found the courage to speak. Ada, I'm sorry. Ada hesitated before nodding. It's okay. Let's just forget about it. But some things can never be forgotten. Their friendship slowly returned, but things were never the same. Then one day, Ada shocked David again. I think we should try it again, she said. David stared at her. What? No. We can't do that again. But Ada was insistent. Please, David, don't disappoint me. David's heart sank. He didn't want to, but he couldn't bear to lose Ada's friendship. So, once again, he agreed. One day after school, they stayed behind in an empty classroom. Are you sure? David whispered. Ada nodded. We'll be quick. No one will know. They slipped into a hidden corner of the school. David's breath caught in his throat. Someone was coming. They bolted out of the room in different directions, hearts pounding. It was the school security guard, making his routine rounds. They had been lucky. This time. But luck always runs out. Back at home, Ada was more determined than ever. We have to try again, she told David. This time, at home. David hesitated. I don't know, Ada. Nobody will catch us, she insisted. That evening, when their mothers were at the market, they locked the door and sat on the bed. Just as they were about to continue, they heard it. The front door opening. Ada. David. Mama David's voice rang through the house. David's heart stopped. Footsteps approached the room. A knock. David, why is this door locked? David quickly jumped up and opened the door, forcing a nervous smile. Mama David's eyes darted between the two of them. Something felt off. What's going on? She asked. Silence. Sit down, she commanded. Now tell me the truth. David and Ada exchanged terrified glances. They knew they couldn't hide it anymore. With trembling voices, they confessed everything. Mama David listened in stunned silence. Then she stood up abruptly. I need to talk to Mama Ada, she said, her voice shaking. To be continued. What happens next? The revelation is out. But will their mothers understand, or will they blame each other's children? Will they seek help, or punishment? And most importantly, what will happen to Ada and David now? Red Circle subscribe for the second part. This story is a wake-up call for every parent. Are you truly aware of what your children are exposed to when you're not watching? What do you think is the biggest mistake parents make when it comes to monitoring their children? Let's talk and hear your views in the comments. Pushpin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Once Upon Africa so you don't miss the powerful conclusion in part 2.